What is going on, guys? Fighting Game Select is here. We are back again. So look, we're gonna go ahead and talk about some more Tekken. And I got Shadow again.
What's up, man?
It's good. Thank you for coming back, man. It's always a pleasure having you here.
Of
But look,
course.
I've always had my takes with other players that I'm cool with, and I'm like, I'm cool with Shadow. Let me go ahead and ask him some real questions.
Yeah.
Yo, is Tekken 8 a good competitive game right now in this state?
I think so, yes.
Ooh, tell me more about that.
So Tekken 7 was good competitively, I would say. I think it's the same sort of as far as gameplay. Obviously we got new mechanics and everything, and some people aren't really fond of it, like chip damage and heat and all that. But I think it's very healthy for the game. It enforces you to engage more in fighting. Tekken 7, a lot of people, would run. They would pick infinite stages, pick characters with good movement, and just, try to play as lame as possible. And that's okay if it gets you the dub, it gets you the dub. But, Tekken 8 really makes both players have to fight. And I enjoy that because I personally think that was something that was missing from my gameplay, is being more engaged in fighting. So, overall, I think it's just good. It makes everyone more competitive, in my opinion.
Let me ask you this: do you think the way like people finding like defensive play styles, did you feel like that was not competitive, or do you feel like it was just a little too dull in the gameplay? Did you feel and also let me ask you another question too. Do you feel like the way Tekken 7 system was designed forced people to play that way?
Yeah, I would say that in that game the damage was like basically you get launched, you get took to the wall, and then they put you in an Oki situation, and then you die. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like that sorta in Tekken 8, but it's toned down a little bit in the sense of counter hit launchers. They're a little bit more risky. Also, the movement is better in Tekken 8, so you can move around this stuff more. Tekken 7, you would try to sidestep something and still get clipped, to get launched, get counter hit launched or something, and then you still die. The game is relatively similar, but I think it's still just forcing both players to interact just a little bit more. There's obviously still that defensive play, because I've won matches where I just blocked and then finally, found my opportunity. I think overall it's just a more aggressive game.
How do you feel about the heat system as a whole?
I do like it, but I think the only thing I would change about it is the moves that put you into heat. You should have the option to go in heat or not. But other than that, I think it's fine because it gives like characters with not the greatest pressure or offense a chance to still establish that offense.
How you feel about certain characters, like for example, like Brian? How
hmm
you feel about having certain mechanics or certain move sets being locked out unless he's like in heat?
What do you mean specifically? Like
So he has that mechanic where his
oh,
arms.
Snake Eyes. Okay,
Yeah,
I get what you
yeah,
mean. The installs.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think the installs are fine. They add a lot of like individuality and personality to the characters. Because at first I think Claudio was the only character who had that in Tekken 7. Uh,
Yeah, I thought maybe Eliza too, right? Or no, she didn't have
no,
it.
no, no, no. She just
Okay.
had meter. Yeah. But yeah,
Maybe she had
Claudio
like
was the
I thought
only
she had
one.
like some vampire mechanic.
Oh no, that would be
Okay.
cool though.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That's why they kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Okay.
The characters, some characters that have them don't really make sense. Like Brian, for example. I don't really understand why his is an install. They could have just made it part of his move list, I guess.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but
We,
I think it was just sort of to try and spice him up or add something to him without making him seem boring, I guess.
but like some characters, they don't need that, and they just doing whatever they want to do,
hmm
and
But
you feel that.
yeah, but I think that's the point of Heat because when you're in Heat, you have access to it all the time, and that's the point of the aggression. They want you to be aggressive because if you're being aggressive, then you're gonna be in Heat eventually, and you'll be at your strongest.
And sometimes I just feel like Reina is heat or not. I,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the same situation. But so let's talk about like the top tiers in this
Yeah.
game.
Me personally, I don't really like tier lists. I feel
Oh,
like,
you're
yeah,
anti tier list?
I wouldn't say anti tier lists. I feel like at least this early in the game, it hasn't even been like a year to try and make a tier list. It's kind of like silly, considering that we're all learning. But I mean, obviously, you can point out which characters are the best. So every character has weaknesses, some more glaring than others.
Dragonov got a weakness.
Yeah.
What's his weakness?
Well, no. In Tekken 8, yeah, in Tekken 8 they covered
he got
it.
some new lows. He got some new lows, bro.
Well, oh no, his lows were fine regardless before that. But his biggest weakness were his mids didn't work. And they kind of still work the same. They don't work. But they buffed one mid, his back four, and it like hits grounded now, and it's faster, and the hitbox on it is just crazy. So it sort of covers everything he needed, like all of his problems. So if they just fix that, then he would have that weakness again, and he wouldn't be so over the top. Also nerf the plus frames on his that one low, the down back 3+4. Yeah, it's a little obnoxious. And then the crouching low, that low is kind of busted because it's low mid, which is fine. But the mid doesn't come out unless the low connects. And so on block, the mid will never come out. And so
That's
it's kind of,
right?
yeah, it's kind of absurd right there. So I think just fixing that, and he would have weaknesses and have more counterplay. Because I personally, I don't enjoy fighting him too much, but playing Zafina, I like that matchup. I think Zafina is good against him. So
I have 3 questions I want to ask you, man.
Yeah.
So, if there were a character that you feel like no one's like talking about, but you feel like a character is like really, really good, what character would that be?
Leo, she's a walking 50-50. Just like she has very strong mids, like very hit confirmable mids. She has very like super strong lows. Like she has a high crushing low that's +5 on hit. It's -12 counter hit launches. Has pretty decent range. It's very fast. She has another low that's plus. You can't low period. It gives her a free heat engager on counter hit. She has a hell sweep. She has an install that makes her hell sweep stronger. It makes a few of her mids stronger. It gives her string extensions. And in heat, she gets unlimited access to that install. So she's just overall just very strong, very solid.
So if there's a character that you know that it's like everybody is saying like, oh, this character is like busted, but you think like they're just a regular strong character, what character do you think that is?
Devil Jin. Most people just complain about him being in heat. And him in heat, the heat smash sort of forces you to just stand there. So they're just most likely just get embodied by the heat smash. But other than that, he's just like a Mishima. He's always like the old Devil Jin. He's hell sweep, you know, mid mix up. He's just playing Tekken. Until he's in heat, then he becomes a boss character. But besides that, I feel like he's pretty normal. Not saying he's not strong.
It becomes story mode, Devil.
Yeah, it becomes story mode.
Angel Jin.
Yeah, but besides the heat, I feel like he's a pretty balanced top tier.
If there's a character that you think that it's like really, really like strong, like very, very strong, people are slept on, but requires a specialist.
Kazuya is just Kazuya. He's always done the same thing. It's really strong 50-50 mix up. Electrics. Good punishment, probably top tier, top 3 punishment as usual. But I think execution holds him back. But they fixed a lot of his problems with him being linear and everything by giving him a demon paw like Jin 442. He has a move like that, and he never really had that. And so that sort of covers his weakness of being like sidewalk consistently and everything. And it's also a heat engager and a launcher in heat. And so like he can just really snowball you really fast once he gets momentum. So that's why I think he's like really slept on, because when you really fight a Mishima player, a specialist, it's like scary in tournament. Very scary.
Now let's talk about Lee a little bit.
Now Lee. So Lee, in Tekken 7, he wasn't talked about too much, but I think he was really strong still. He had pretty good punishment, you know, with the acid rain and all that. Above average pokes. Like his poking game was just like very good. It's very annoying because he's poking at you with like launchers as well as counter hit launchers. And so it's like, and his keep out game is like really good, and his whiff punishment is pretty decent too. His game plan, he wanted you to like make mistakes and force you to make mistakes. So it was really hard to beat defensive players with him, in my opinion. But now in Tekken 8, they promote aggression, and they gave him the tools to be more aggressive. They gave his, lows some buffs. They're more like plus or faster. He has back 3-3. It's a low high that's natural, and it's very annoying to deal with now. And he just does a lot of damage. Above average wall carry. His wall carry is like insane. I think when a specialist plays him, like fighting GM for example, like we always have really close sets and tough ass sets. Like when I fight him, I can tell the difference. Like this is a Lee main, this is a Lee specialist. He only plays Lee. He's been playing Lee his whole life. Best Lee on in the world, in my opinion. And so like you can really tell that this character is dangerous in the right hands.
I want to go ahead and talk about a little bit about the tournament format. Like,
Yeah.
How do you feel about like everything being offline, and what are the things you don't like about like the Tekken World Tour?
Um, I love that it's all offline. I think it makes everyone have to come out and support the locals, which is important for everybody because it helps everybody get better, helps the scene. It's just healthy for the game in general. I get to travel a lot, so I love that. I would say the random select rule is kind of weird. I get it, but at the same time, I feel like you should be able to rematch if you want. The only thing I didn't like was they had like online events for that one year. And because it was online, even though I was like number one in standings because of offline events, I lost like one match online and I didn't qualify. So that sort of sucked.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But besides that, I think the TWT is constantly improving, and I think they are listening, so that's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I mean, like I said, I'm really glad that they do stuff like this for the offline event because, I feel like offline just gathers a lot of people and it gets a lot of people, grinding and like keeping their heads low and just focusing on, just getting better. And I feel like that camaraderie that you have with your locals and things like that it will foster great players.
Yeah, it will, because like I run into people online and I don't know who they are and they body me, and I'm like, well, I hope they come to tournaments because they were really good. And then like last week I went to my local, we had almost 100 entrants, and that was just a weekly, not even a monthly or anything, and that's really good compared to what we used to have, like maybe 15, 20, maybe 30 people for Tekken 7.
And with that being said, man, I think that's a perfect way to end. And I want to ask, man, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Shadow20Z, as well as Twitch. Same name, Shadow20Z.
Awesome, man. And thank you so much for coming here. I appreciate you coming into the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
How you guys feel about the balance? Who your favorite character? What characters you guys want to see more in the tournament? Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you guys had a great time. Please leave a like, subscribe to the Fighting Game Select channel. You guys let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.